Stop drinking beer. And let's start tasting what's in your glass. What did you think I was going to say? Here are the beer tasting basics for you beer tasting beginners. Hi, I'm Joanne, the beer school lady, and I teach beer lovers how to taste beer with confidence and to develop their knowledge of the world's favourite beverage. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel to get all of my latest beer education videos. So when a brewer makes a beer, they put a lot of interest and love into that glass. And some of the pure joy about drinking beer is really tasting what they're trying to make for you. But how do you really start tasting beer, not just drinking it? Let's go through the basic steps today. The first thing you need when you are beer tasting is a glass. You should always drink your beer out of a glass. Not only can you then see your beer, you'll also be opening up the aromas and flavours that just doesn't happen when it's in a can or a bottle. If you haven't got a beer glass yet, my recommendation to you is a glass like this. This is called a teku. It's got this nice kind of bold shape here, so it opens up the aromas and flavours of the beer. It's got a tapered in lip that's going to capture the head, which also helps capture the aroma. And it's stemmed. That means you're not putting your hand heat on the beer and changing the temperature of it, which is quite important when we're tasting. And also it makes you look really fancy. You might also want to look at something like tasting glasses if you want to do flights of beer. My recommendation when you are out and about is to always do flights of beer if where you are going does them. It means you can taste more beers and really get to understand what's in the glass every time. Do you get a flight when you're in a beer bar? Let me know in the comments because they're my absolute fave. Speaking of flights, I've got one here for you today. So we are going to look at 3 different types of beer and how you can taste them. We've got a hop forward beer, we've got a malt forward beer, and we've got a beer that is driven by fermentation flavours. So when you're beer tasting, how do you start? Let's start by looking at our beer and taking in the appearance. As you can see, all 3 of these beers look quite different, and that's going to be because of the choices that the brewer made in ingredients. This beer has got a bit of haze to it. When you're first starting out tasting, have a look at the colour. You want to look at the clarity. Is it brilliantly clear or is it a little bit hazed? Is it thick and soupy? And what's the head like? Let's add a bit more to this. Has it got a nice foamy white head like this? Is the head white? Is it brown? Is it tan? Is it beige? Is it tinted with colour? Because there might be fruit in there. Appearance is really easy. Literally take it in with your eyes. Describe what you are seeing. Say what you see. Next, we want to take in the aroma. The easiest way to do this is to swirl the beer in your glass. As you can see, I don't have these glasses filled all the way up. That means I can do a nice swirl. Yep, just like the wine tasters do. Once you've swirled it, I want you to stick your nose right in the glass and have a really good sniff. What are you getting from that beer? You might want to think in terms of food words. This is a malt forward beer. I'm getting lots of bread, maybe some toast, lots of bread dough. So you can use words that you already use to describe food to describe beer. Finally, we get to the best part. We get to the tasting. Now, we have to remember that what we consider flavour is actually a combination of aroma and the sensations we get in our mouth when we swallow beer. Unlike with wine, we do want to swallow. There's carbonation in our beer. By swallowing, we get that sensation. It also activates what's called our retronasal action. Orthonasal is when you smell like this. Retronasal is when something passes through your mouth and past your nasal cavity and the aroma comes back up your nose. A lot of that is what we consider flavour, so we do want to swallow. Also, let's get sciencey, there's enzymes in your mouth that are going to break down some of these particles and give you even more flavour. So let's have a taste. Take a nice sip, let it get all around your mouth, swallow it. Think about what sensations you're getting. Is there lots of carbonation? Is it prickly? Is there acidity? Is it smooth, thick, oily? Is it thin and a bit watery? Then what flavours is your brain telling you you're getting? That's really coming from the aroma as well. Again, you can use food words to help you describe what you're tasting. I think that reviewing beer is one of the most fun things about beer tasting and about our craft beer hobby. I've got a video about reviewing beers. You can check that out via the link on screen now. Having a flight of beers means that you can try lots of different things. And as I said, we've got a hop forward beer, a malt forward beer, and a fermentation forward beer. In a hop forward beer, you are going to get more flavours like tropical fruits, citrus fruits. You might get pine or resin. They might be earthy or floral. Hops add bitterness, flavour and aroma. So they're really important in our beers. In this beer, I've got a pale ale. So I'm expecting some tropical or citrusy fruit. Let's have a go. Have a little smell. Oh yeah, I'm getting pineapple and mango. Give it a little swirl. I'm getting a little bit of vegetable hop as well. When beers are highly hopped, you might smell some vegetables in there. Let's taste. Lots of pineapple, bit of citrus, maybe lemon. It's quite a light beer. This one's only 2.8%. It is from Sheep in Wolf's Clothing. So it is slightly lighter than some other beers, but it's really refreshing. It's got a nice bite of carbonation that's cleaning my palate. Those are some fancy words you can use there. Let's have a look at our malt forward beer. As you can see, the colour is quite different. It will have had different malts in it to give it this amber colour. Let's have a taste and see what we're getting. On the aroma, I'm getting lots of bready notes. Malt beers can often be described through kind of bread products and baked goods. Also chocolate and coffee are going to come through in a malt forward beer. This one's got lots of bread dough, bit of toast. I'm getting a little bit of caramel. There's what we professionals call perceived sweetness in here from those malts as well. This is a very drinkable beer. It is an Oktoberfest lager from Pillars, so I would expect to be able to drink it in quantity. Finally, let's have a look at our fermentation forward beer. Yeast is often a little bit forgotten in our beers, but it does do amazing things. This is a wit beer. It is a Belgian white beer. They call it a white beer because it can sometimes look a bit milky in the glass, but this one isn't quite as hazy as our hop beer there, but it has got a nice foamy head. I'm getting lots of orange peel and coriander. Sometimes in wit beers these are added in, but also you'll get a bit of spiciness from Belgian yeast. Different yeasts will do different things. Let's have a taste. This beer's got a really full mouth feel. It feels like it's filling up my mouth. It's got spiciness from coriander. There's lemon from that coriander. The spiciness will also be coming from the Belgian yeast. And there's a bit of refreshing orange in there. Overall, all of my beers have been very drinkable. Overall, all of my beers have been very drinkable, and by having a flight of beer here, I can try lots of different things and hone my beer tasting skills. Are you ready to start tasting beer like a pro now that you know the basics? I've got a mini course that will be delivered to your inbox by signing up to the link below. And if you want to learn more about reviewing beer, check out the video that's on your screen now.